Let's catch up with some Spurs news and notes, put Jeremy Sochan in the spotlight, and then ask the question, just how much are you willing to spend to go watch your Spurs in action and paid some very high price tickets?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. I am Jeff Garcia, Spurs beat writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. And thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every day. We appreciate you subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, what else? YouTube, Ken's 5 Plus app. Pick a platform. We are there. You guys are making the wise choice this offseason and every day to come here and check out Locked On Spurs, talking all things silver and black. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. You want to go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. That's not a bad deal. So what are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at some Spurs news and notes that you may have missed. Then bring in our guest, Rudy Campos, will sweep the league. We're going to put Jeremy Sochan in the spotlight because recently he said he's setting the bar high. We're just what he needs to do to reach that level and then some. And then I'm going to ask Rudy just how much is he willing to spend on tickets to go check out the silver and black this upcoming season. You're going to be shocked when you hear about the secondary market prices. But first, some Spurs news and notes. And Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama. That's kind of a rivalry that everybody's been watching since the two entered the league. Their rookie seasons, it was must-see TV. It was two giants of the NBA going against each other. Well, many people thought that there was personal beef between the two. Well, Chet Holmgren put the record clear, made it very clear that people may take it as if they have beef, but they don't. Holmgren recently clarified that any rivalry against Wembanyama isn't because he's something personal against the Spurs star. He said that on Paul George's show, the Podcast P show. And he even went on to say that he doesn't even know Wemby that well. That all he does is they just play against each other on the court. They just play basketball. They're competitors. Neither of them want to lose. That's all it is. So there's no personal beef that he has with Wemby. Wemby has never said anything, but at least in his opinion, he thinks that there's nothing going on between the two. And look, and I get why a lot of people thought that there may have been some personal beef. They competed for each other, on the court. The two giants of the NBA, OKC, Spurs, they meet a lot during the regular season. Wemby, edged out Chet in the Rookie of the Year race. And, ultimately, Wemby just ran away with it. And for a while there, Holmgren was leading the race to start the season last year. And then you look at the point differential, Wemby, statistically just cleared him, 21 points per game, close to 11 rebounds, led the league in the NBA in block shots, 3.6. The rest. But then again, Holmgren, was in a ready-made team, and his team makes the playoffs. Wemby doesn't in his rookie year. So although team-wise, the OKC Thunder beat the Spurs last year in the regular season series, but Wemby had a lot more individual accolades. But look, it's just good to know there's no animosity off the court. It's nothing personal. It's just competitors. That's what pro players do. They compete. And that's exactly what Chet and Wemby are doing each time they face each other. Hey, if anything, bonus. So it makes some great TV and games to watch, for you and me when those two guys square off. In other Spurs news, does this ring a bell? Kenyon Martin. Remember him? Yeah, the former NBA player had some interesting choice words about the Knicks hosting the Spurs on Christmas Day. Yeah, so the former NBA player, Kenyon Martin, he says the Spurs are not a worthy opponent for the Knicks on Christmas Day. He said that during an interview with Gilbert Arenas, his show. So, there's always something going on with that. He said, quote, "The people that go to the games on Christmas Day in the Garden," he's talking about Madison Square Garden, "so you make them go watch the Spurs play? It's Christmas Day when you wake up at 9 in the morning and go to the game, come around 9 out there. Do you really want to watch? No disrespect." He said, "No disrespect. Do you want to watch San Antonio?" He continued by saying, "San Antonio on Christmas, if you're going to put out a lesser team, just put out the Brooklyn Nets." So he had some interesting words to say about the Spurs. A lot of Spurs fans saw this and a lot of them said, like, hey, he must be still salty about 2003 when he lost to the Spurs in the finals. But let's just face it, it's the Wemby effect. That's really what it is. And even if it's just the Wemby effect, so what? The last two times last year when the Spurs and the Knicks faced off, it was interesting. Okay, so Spurs at Knicks last year, the Knicks crowd boo Wemby constantly and call him overrated. Knicks won. Then you go to the Spurs hosting the Knicks out in the Frost Center. That's when Wemby had that monster game, 40 points, 20 rebounds. It was a thrilling overtime win for the Spurs. So yeah, maybe Wemby is the draw, but let's just face it. Collectively, the last two games between the Spurs and the Knicks have been interesting. But maybe again, like the Spurs fans say, Kenyon is still salty about the Spurs beating his only chance to win an NBA title back in the day. In other Spurs news, now this is an Easter egg. If you knew this, congratulations. Did you know that Tim Duncan was a secret playable player on the video game via EA Sports Knockout Kings 2000? Yeah, he was a secret player. So video game Tim Duncan, he had the black trunks, the white trim on it, reflecting the Spurs colors, had his name Tim on it. The video game even captured his height, his reach. It is very interesting. I got a picture here to share with you. This is via EA Sports. There it is. Video game Tim Duncan taking on Muhammad Ali. Yeah. Look, I've been following the Spurs for a long time. I was around when this video game dropped. I did not know he was a secret player. I did not. I'm pretty good about knowing my nerd stuff here, even video games. But this was a little surprising to me. You know, I want to ask this. Did the game developers foresee and predict that Tim Duncan would be interested in martial arts after he retired, from the game? In this game, boxers are allowed to kick, like as if it's kickboxing. Well, in real life, Tim Duncan took up kickboxing. Everybody knows that. As a matter of fact, he's a big UFC fan. He goes to a lot of UFC fights in San Antonio. But there you have it. Who knew, right? Who knew? I had no idea, and I'm old enough to be, like I said, to remember when the game dropped. But yeah, I mean, congratulations if you knew that secret. Now, see, I got to play the game now. I want to play the game and beat Tim Duncan in the boxing ring. Yeah. I never thought I'd be talking about a Tim Duncan boxing in a video game here on Locked On Spurs. All right, there's your quick Spurs news and notes. When we get back, we're going to be joined by Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Heads up, we couldn't really coordinate for times to do a video show, so from this point forward, moving on, it's going to be audio only. But nevertheless, we're going to be discussing Jeremy Sochan. He personally set his bar higher next season. What does he have to do to reach it? And then just how much is Rudy willing to pay, and how much would anybody pay to go pick up a ticket and check out the Spurs in action? That's coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. Hey, let's talk about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. That is a winning formula for championships, and it also keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. You need a supercharger, you need roof racks, you need LED headlights, you need exhaust kits, whatever you need, so much more. If you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts to choose from for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for, and with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Yeah, why are you going to go anywhere else? With eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, you're not burning cash. With all the parts you need and the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. That's ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. I want to talk about Mudslingers Drive-Thru Coffee. Go there right now, San Antonio, 2404 Thousand Oaks Drive. That's pretty much open every single day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And make sure to follow them on social media at Mudslinger SATX on all platforms. They have it all. They got lattes, they got cold brews, they got caffeine-free drinks, they got decaffeinated coffee. They have the Lightning Bolt series, more of that in a few seconds. They got the signature coffee drink, the Mudslinger. Pick something that you want to drink, they'll likely have it. They got a great menu. They got mini donuts. They got a friendly staff, and they're located in the 281 and 1604 area, so pretty convenient there. What else? Well, they're also a local proud sponsor of Locked On Spurs, and they proudly serve San Antonio community the best drinks in town. What more do you need? Go there right now. Hey, speaking of the Lightning Bolt series, that includes the Alien. You know who that's about, Victor Wembanyama. Well, that line of drinks powers you throughout the day. It supercharges you, gets you going, it keeps you going. But just a heads up, the default now will be Lotus Energy. That's 7 power plant extracts blended in there, and it allows you and them to have flexibility to create more drinks. Now, if you want a Red Bull, they'll still have that. Just tell them and they'll make it for you, easy peasy. But the default will be Lotus Energy. So heads up, same effects as a Red Bull, but again, 7 power plant extracts. Go to Mudslinger's Drive-Thru Coffee right now, San Antonio. Follow them on social media at Mudslinger SATX. Go there right now because life is too short for bland coffee.
A Jedi uses the Force. To subscribe to Locked On Spurs, pass on what you have learned.
And we're now joined by Rudy Campos of Sweep the League, making his second straight appearance right here on Locked On Spurs, coming off the bench once again for the absent-minded, irresponsible Mike Jimenez. Way to go, Rudy. Way to show that you're more of a professional than Mr. MJ himself.
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Yeah, I mean, I'm so nice. You got to have me twice during the week.
Again, check out his show, Sweep the League, on YouTube. He'll talk about that in just a few minutes. And apologies for no video today. Unfortunately, due to some work schedules, Rudy and I could not meet up for a video chat. So why is Rudy here again? Well, we're going to be putting to spotlight Jeremy Sochan. He says he's setting the bar higher for him in his third season. Okay, well, fine. What is that bar for him? How much higher can it go? And then just how much are you willing to go and spend to watch your Spurs in action? I'm going to ask Rudy that question later on this show. Rudy, I know you're on a time crunch, so let's go ahead and dive right into this. So in case you missed it, Rudy, Jeremy Sochan spoke to an outlet recently, I believe it's called Hero Magazine, and he explained about the new season. Getting right to it, though, he believes he has a lot more to prove. He's looking to make more strides entering his third season. He says, I'm feeling good. I'm excited. It's going to be my third year, and I feel like I've got a lot to show. Interesting. So he feels he's not there yet. Let's go ahead and get into it now, Rudy. He's saying he's not at his peak yet. Obviously, he's still young, third season. Okay, fine. But what more can Sochan do if he's going to raise that bar higher for himself?
So for him setting the bar high, I think I'm not laughing at it. But what we've seen over his first couple of seasons, the bar has been set pretty low. Let's be honest. I mean, shooting percentage hasn't really gone up. It hasn't really improved a whole lot. You know, he tried him at the point guard position where coming out of Baylor, a lot of people said he was able to handle the ball. Some people even said you may even see like a Boris Diaw type of player. We have yet to see that right there. The one consistency that I do see is his defensive presence. I do see the improvement on the defensive side. He can be a really, really effective person on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm okay with him setting the bar high this season, but we've got to have it backed up by Jeremy Sochan. You've got to improve the shooting percentage. You got to be more creative on the offensive side of the ball. If not, you got to be in more of a motion type for Jeremy Sochan. I think that's where he benefits the most, is in that motion offense, playing off the ball, getting to the basket. We've seen him excel in those situations when he's near the basket and he's getting, passes down below, stuff like that. So I think it's okay for him setting the bar that high, but we got to see improvement.
No, you're absolutely right. Aside from a failed experiment at the point guard last season, okay, fine, that's not his problem. That was the coaching staff. But yeah, I think the improvement begins with the obvious, and that is outside perimeter shooting, 3-point shooting, especially. Like in the NBA, you need spacing, especially if you got Victor Wembanyama on your side there, and Sochan does. You need to operate away from the basket, and Sochan needs to prove that. Now, he's a menace. He's a pest. We know that. He gets under the skin of opposing players. Awesome. Good job. Keep that up, Sochan. I don't think you need to level up on that. He might be getting thrown out if he does of games. But Rudy, Sochan shot 31% from the 3-point line last year. Now, he did improve from his rookie season, 25% to 31%, but he needs to get that better and that going consistently heading into year 3. Look, just overall, his shooting needs improvement. Doesn't matter from 3-line, mid-range shot, deep 2-shot, it doesn't matter. Last season, he connected on 41% shooting. Rudy had dropped from his rookie season to 46%. Now, okay, that could have been the Wemby effect, less touches. We'll give him that thing. But, I mean, my goodness, it has to start there, Rudy. I think he needs to show that immediately, because if he doesn't develop that shot after year 3, he becomes more, a tradable asset, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I'm gonna just really call it like it is right now for Jeremy. Is that you mentioned tradable asset? Without the improvement, I mean, you're really not going to move from him at all. You're going to probably end up cutting him if he's not able to improve. And you're right about the 3-point shooting. You can see the positive side. It did improve over his rookie season, but it didn't improve enough to make a significant impact on the Spurs. He's the type of guy that's going to be left open a lot because teams are knowing that he can't shoot the ball. If he can improve that by, I would say, from 31%, Jeff, from three-point line, if he can get up to like 36, 37%, that is leaps and bounds. That is like moving mountains right there for Jeremy Sochan. That'll be more beneficial. But more than anything, if you can't get him to improve, then you're going to probably see him coming off the bench is what I'm looking at. You might even see a starting five where you're going to have Zach Collins and Victor Wembanyama starting in the front five, first five right now, because that's how much Jeremy doesn't really gel with that first unit.
Yeah. Look, he was switched to the one-handed free throw shot. Good. It got better and markedly better, from when he was doing two-handed two shots, free throws to the one-handed one shot. Fine. But that still needs improvement. He's not consistent in that as well. It did jump. Yes, it is. Kudos to Sochan. Good job. You made a stride there. But he needs to continue there. So I'm looking at free throw shooting. It just seems to me, Rudy, just overall, it's just his outside game. We know he can do it defensively. I'll get some stats in a bit. We know he can be that, workman, do the dirty work on the court, whether it be rebounds, diving on the floor, getting some putback rebounds. We know he can do that. It just really comes down to that outside shot. And if he can open up that outside shot, can you imagine him in a pick and roll situation? I mean, my goodness. Can you imagine him on a drop pass from Wemby? Double team Wemby in the paint out to Sochan, and that shot falls. If he can do that, really, my goodness, that Spurs, then that draft pick that first round pick that turned to Sochan is going to look like great, like Brian Wright did another home run hit.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It would be a really good home run hit for Brian Wright if Jeremy Sochan improved. And, I'll be real. If he really if he had the work ethic, I've always thought if he really put in the effort, you're talking about a possible guy that, I would definitely say not on his level, but imagine the consistency of like a Rasheed Wallace hitting that outside jumper, having 3-point range. That he's got the build. He has the game to do it because Wallace could even take you off the dribble, and I think Jeremy can as well. He's got ball handling skills. He can even pass the ball. So if he was just to really, really improve on his jump shot, whether it be from 20 feet, from 3-point, wherever, he's just got to get consistent. But imagine him having that jumper, being a Rasheed type of player on the offensive side. That is huge for the San Antonio Spurs. Now you don't have to go out and get another big man to play right alongside Wemby when you have one already in the system.
You mentioned Sheed. Sheed was really consistent from that little mid-range shot.
Yeah.
He can knock it down. And look, I'm not asking Sochan to make a leap where he's invited to the 3-point shootout during All-Star break or, that. But I just something more consistent and something reliable. And especially, again, imagine Wemby just knowing that he has that comfort level with Sochan that, if he gets double, triple team, he can kick it out. Not a problem. It's going to fall down. I know not all shots fall down. Even Steph Curry misses shots sometimes, and he has bad shooting nights. But, just to be consistent. Now, I'm not going to totally dump on Sochan here. He's talking about setting the bar higher. Now, I'm going to look at the defensive end. And defensively, he's good, and the numbers prove it. So, Rudy, I dived deep into some numbers here and looked at how he ranked defensively among, at his position among second-year players last year. All right, so among sophomore players last year, Rudy Sochan ranked fourth in deflections at 1.8 per game, second on contested shots at 4.3, third in contested 3-point shots at 2.7 per game. Defensively, he brings it. So, how much better can he get on the defensive end? Look, I think all Spurs fans will take it if he can get better, and I think he will. He's coming in stronger. He had a little bit of off season, run with Team Poland. Unfortunately, they didn't make the Olympics. But can you imagine a stronger, more experienced Sochan in 30 year on the defensive end? He could be a nightmare, Rudy.
He very well could be. Now, that's probably the only benefit, or not even benefit, the only positive coming out of Baylor was that he was a defensive guy. A lot of people maybe picked him for a 3-and-D type of player. He didn't really have a consistent three-point shot in college, but the defensive side of the ball, again, that's pretty much his primary focus. Now, if you want to use him for defensive purposes, then go back to a guy like Bruce Bowen for the San Antonio Spurs. Bruce was able to improve his shooting and just basically put him on the corner. When you had Bruce on either side of the corner for a three-point shot, it was pretty much money every time Bruce Bowen was shooting it.
Yeah, it was.
If you can get Jeremy just to concentrate on the corner three and just focus on defense, that you can't really ask for much more when it comes to Jeremy there. But yeah, his defensive presence is huge, especially for a guy like Victor, because it allows him to play a little off the ball, help him out on double team, stuff like that. So it makes it really tough for front court players.
Absolutely. And I think what's going to help Sochan as well is having Harrison Barnes at his side, a guy who plays his position. I think that's going to help tremendously. I mean, if he can turn into kind of Barnes light, can you imagine? I'm not saying exactly Harrison Barnes, it would be great if he can reach that level. But look, if that's his ceiling, I'm pretty sure Spurs fans will take it, right, Rudy?
Yeah, I mean, if he was able to turn into a Harrison Barnes type of shooter player, yeah, I definitely would take that. Every Spurs fan would. But it's Jeremy's mechanics. It's almost like you're going to have to tear him down and rebuild him back up on that jump shot. So that it's a very lengthy process if you've got to tear a player down and rebuild them.
I wonder what Chip England would have done with Sochan if he stayed in San Antonio, Rudy. Can you imagine?
He made Parker into a shooter. He turned Kawhi into a lethal shooter. I mean, only one could imagine.
All right, so before we transition to our last segment here, your just overall thoughts on Sochan. Do you think he will reach that self-established higher bar? He said it himself. We didn't bring it up. Rudy didn't bring it up. Sochan himself said he has a lot to show. He's setting the bar higher. Do you think he'll reach it?
Depending on his work ethic, he might. But if we're working at it right now, just by looking at the eye test game, I'm gonna say probably not. I don't have very. I'm very skeptical about it. It depends on what he has the bar set. Is it getting to 33%, 32% for 3-point range? Then I say yeah, it's achievable. But if it's to become one of the better 3-point shooters in the game, yada yada yada, then yeah, the bar is set at probably 20 feet, and you ain't gonna be able to reach it. Yeah.
Now look. The bar is set right now at 41% shooting overall from the field for him. If that's his biggest need of concern, area of concern to address, then the bar is set low. Even if he comes out shooting 45, 46%, I mean, that's a big leap in the NBA. But if he can do something like that, that'd be great for the Spurs and Wembanyama and some W's. Sochan did close out that interview by saying, building that winning culture. Well, we're going to need Sochan to knock down some shots if the Spurs want to get some W's. All right, coming up next, we're going to be asking Rudy just how much cash is he willing to spend for Spurs tickets. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs. I want to talk about FanDuel. You want to go to FanDuel right now. You heard us talk a lot about FanDuel right here on Locked On Spurs. It's America's #1 sportsbook for a reason. We all have something, a little that we want, right? We want sports to continue, right? We don't want it to end. Well, with FanDuel, you can keep the sports action going. All you gotta do is just remove some bets and you're on the way you go. Now, through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Go there right now. Don't pass up on that offer. Then with YouTube TV base plan, you better watch every single regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel anytime. How do you go do that? Well, you want to go to FanDuel.com/lockedon right now. That's a great offer, right? Go get. I'm more than likely going to do that by the time I'm reading this ad. You want to go to FanDuel again, America's #1 sportsbook. Again, visit FanDuel.com/LockedOnNBA to download America's #1 sportsbook. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. If you're thinking about online therapy, you want to give BetterHelp a try. Look, we all have ups and downs in our lives. Sometimes it's not smooth sailing, it's rocky roads, or maybe it is smooth sailing and you want to keep that smooth sailing going. That's where BetterHelp comes in. They got it all there. It's convenient, it's flexible to your schedule. They seriously, it's a one-stop place you want to go to for online therapy. So, for example, what are your self-care non-negotiables? Maybe you never skip a leg day when you hit the gym, or even therapy day. When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big projects, so much more, it's easier to let your priorities slip. So even when you know what makes you happy, it's hard to remember and to make time for that. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. So again, if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Again, it isn't just for those who experience major trauma, even those that are doing great and just want to keep that going. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire. You can match with a licensed therapist, switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/LockedOnNBA. That'll get you 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA.
Hello, Spurs fans. Joker here, and I listen to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia. And you better too.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on X at Sweep the League and check out his YouTube show. That's now twice a day, once in the afternoon and once at night. He'll tell you more about that. It is Sweep the League. Go on YouTube, subscribe right now. And again, everybody, in case it feels like we're hitting the hyperdrive here, I told Chewbacca to punch it. It's because Rudy is busy at work and he carved out a little time to chat with us here on Locked On Spurs. Right, so Rudy, season's almost here upon us. Got maybe a month and a half-ish left before things get going again. But tickets are already on sale. Now, Spurs have announced that individual tickets are available. Yay! But sometimes Spurs fans don't go that route. They seek the secondary market. For those that don't know what the secondary market is, think of Ticketmaster. Think of what's in a StubHub. Those are secondary markets. Yeah, exactly. Those are areas, websites you can go to for, tickets, but they're not directly from teams. They're not from the Spurs. They're not from the Cowboys. They're not from the Falcons. They're directly from brokers or season ticket holders that put their tickets on the sale. But they're there, and it's an option if you need a ticket. Now, Vivid Seats is another secondary market, and they announced some interesting stats. Ooh, a lot of cash. First of all, Mr. Campos, I know you love the Spurs. I know you'll go see them. You'll go check them out. You'll support them. But just how far will you go to spend money if you're dire straits, your kid, I want to go see Wemby, Daddy, and they're sold out through the Spurs, and you only got Vivid Seats. Are you willing to pay $256 on average to go see the Spurs and Wemby play?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I won't spend that much money for tickets to, if I was going to watch San Antonio Spurs and their entire lineup was a '92 Dream Team, then probably so. I would pay that much kind of cash for it. But no, absolutely not. Even if my team was a title contender right away, and it's the buildings are rocking, so don't bother knocking type stuff from back in the day. I'm still not spending that kind of money. It's way too much money, and I hate the fact that a lot of these secondary competitors basically come in, scoop up a lot of tickets, and they're selling them to people. Why? Because they know they're going to pay the price if they want to see a player like Victor Wembanyama. So I don't ever agree with that, but for that price, no. I'm staying home, spending way less than that, watching it on TV. And I mean, think about it. For a family of three, if you're spending $250, that's $750, not including the parking, not including any concessions you're going to get. I mean, $1,000 for one Spurs game? No, man, I wouldn't even come close to that.
Yeah. All right, well, here you go, everybody. According to resale company Vivid Seats, the average ticket prices for a Spurs game shot up by 151% compared to last season after the NBA schedule was released. So in other words, if you're looking to attend a game in person this year, you can expect to pay an average of $256 per seat. for a Spurs game. Again, caveat, secondary market. This is compared to $102 from last year per seat. Vivid Seats also announced that Spurs ticket page, just the ticket page, people going to the Spurs ticket page spiked 689% on the night the NBA schedule came out. That just shows you right there that everybody wants to go see Wemby, really, just to be honest. That's pretty much what it is. It's the Wemby effect. They're not there to see Keldon, they're not there to see Trey Jones. No offense to those guys, but it's really there for Wemby. All right, Rudy, let me throw this at you. All right, check this out.
Yeah.
The price for a secondary market ticket to the Spurs home opener against the Rockets on October 26th, and this is for a courtside ticket row 1, $7,642. $2,408 for a ticket in the charter level 22, row 9. Yo, no, it's even worse. The closest seat still available to buy as of this recording, row 9, section 115, behind the basket on the left side of the court, $243 before fees. Rudy Campos is not paying that cash. We know that. But don't fret. There are cheaper options to cheer on the Spurs, the season opener. So if we're just looking at the season opener, Rudy, balcony level seats, the cheapest ticket is $45 with $53 options available. Rudy, are you going to be spending a lot of time on the upper deck, huh? That sounds like it, right?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can be one of the guys that drops the parachutes or something to kind of get, work for the Spurs and actually play the game at the same time. But now, even at that price for an upper level seat, it's just me. I wouldn't pay that much.
Yeah.
It's, again.
Well, you're saying you wouldn't pay $45?
What's that?
So you still wouldn't pay $45? You still wouldn't pay $45?
I'm still because I'm still gonna walk out with probably $300-$400 bill at the end of the day, maybe more. So
this is the Wemby effect, everybody. This is exactly what it is. Whether it's on the road or at the Frost, he's a big draw, and these prices reflect that. But it's interesting to see. Think about it. They're just spiking now. Imagine if he and the Spurs start winning and they start making the playoffs and deep playoff runs. It's going to be expensive. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Rudy, tell us about Sweep. Why do we got to subscribe to it?
Yeah, definitely go to YouTube, search at Sweep the League TV, be a subscriber. We're giving away a lot of stuff right now. We just hit over 200 subscribers. We get to 1,000. That's when we start giving away some good prizes. But we come to you every day, Monday through Friday. Normally is at 9 p.m. is our live show, but on Mondays and Wednesdays, we go during the day, so you'll be having a rebroadcast of our day show on Monday and Wednesdays, and also we'll be dropping a lot more content with football coming up, as well as the NBA season right around the corner, as well as training camps opening. Just work a lot more content on the YouTube page, so again, just go to YouTube at Sweep the League TV, be a subscriber so you keep up to date with everything. Plus, real quick mention, Big Texas Comic-Con. We should be there, and we're gonna be talking to Jeff and everybody there as well. So shout out to them. We're gonna be doing a lot of live broadcasts from there too.
Hey, absolutely, I'll be there with Rudy at Big Texas. I am the ambassador, host of the whole event, and Rudy owes me big time. I pulled some strings for him to be there. So, and by owe me big time, like a big red or something. That's all I want.
That's
so you can
perfect.
See that, Rudy.
SEMA red.
Yeah, exactly. Again, follow Rudy on X at Sweep the League. All the links are there for his YouTube show. Very easy to do that. We'll be back Friday. I believe Casey Vieira is back. Yeah, we're going to be discussing more silver and black to wrap up your week right here in Locked On Spurs. Thanks for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. You know where to find us. iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, Kens 5 Plus apps, so much more. Locked On Sports Today, 24/7 streaming channel, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, only on YouTube. So for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.